Hello everybody. Hey, I want to talk about some mods for new Tacoma owners. So here's my Tacoma TRD Sport, and you can see I've got the trifold soft tonneau cover, the rough country seat covers, and these are the WeatherTech vent liners. So I want to talk about each of those because I watched a lot of videos about which parts to buy and things like that, and how to install them, and everything was great until I actually got into the process, and I ended up doing things a couple times because I made some mistakes. So let me show you some of the mistakes. So the first one is with the rough country soft trifold tonneau cover. First off, I don't understand why rough country doesn't put decals or anything. I mean, you pay $200, $250, $300 for these tonneau covers, another $200 for the seat covers, and no decals. Come on, rough country, quit cheaping out. All right, but anyway, so normally I read or don't read the directions depending on how complicated I think the process is. This was my first tonneau cover, so I went through the instructions, and they're not very clear. Like, it's always like, oh, if you have this, if you have bed rails, if you don't have bed rails, if it's a Ford, if it's got rails up front, blah, 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 blah. But nothing really described what to do with these. Now, these straps were way over here on the left, and they were kind of hanging down, and I assumed that they were for if I had rails at the front of the bed. But that's not what those are for. After doing some investigating, because I had everything hooked up and I had these rails just hanging there, these pieces hanging there, I realized those are for emergency. Like, if for some reason these bolts give way, you're on the highway doing 80, 90 mile an hour, and your tonneau cover goes to fly away, this is like the emergency strap. So you want to put those in first. Now with the Tacoma, you can only kind of slide in from the back, so I had to take everything off, the cleats and the already installed brackets here, all four of them, to slide those back in. So if you get a bed cover or a tonneau cover, make sure you put those emergency straps on first, pop them into your bed rails, and then you can do the rest of the stuff. All right, second thing was these rough country neoprene seat covers, which are really nice. I mean, $200, and you can do all four of the seats, the front and back, and you get the headrest covers and whatnot. But I see people installing these incorrectly all the time. So let me kind of move this forward. You want to put this side here inside, like, rough country doesn't make these for these electronic seats, at least not to my knowledge. If I looked at both seat covers, the one on the left over here that you can't see was flat on the side, and then this one had like a gap, and that gap was for the old mechanical mechanism. So the gap was to go around this thing here, this old mechanical seat kind of contraption that they used to have. But for the last couple years, if you get the power seats, there's nothing in the rough country seat covers to kind of expose that panel. So what you need to do is tuck that stuff in, and then the plastic actually goes all the way around, so you'd have to kind of tuck it all the way around, and that way you have access to your controls. You can put it over top of that if that's okay with you. And another thing, when I was installing these, I undid all four bolts, and then I just tilted the seat. You know, I had my wife in the back, and she just pulled this back so I could get access underneath there and make sure that I wasn't hooking it on something that was going to get broke through the bed rails that was just moving forward or back, or hook a wire or something like that and break the power seats. So make sure you just take all four of those bolts off, the two in the back, two in the front, and then you can just rotate the seat so you can access the hole underneath, and you can put it on a spring, which is probably where it's supposed to be. All right, my last issue was with the WeatherTech liners. So for the vent things, I went WeatherTech. I didn't want something that had the 3M sticky stuff and get a bunch of sticky goo inside my track here. So I went with I spent a little bit more money about the WeatherTech ones, but at first I just jammed them in here and thought that's where the clips go. In the back windows for the two back seats, you have to put two clips, one on both, one here, in there. And I was just jamming them in the rail, and they kept popping out. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Well, then, of course, I finally read the directions, and you actually have to use this tool to kind of pull down this, and then they actually clip inside there, and that's what keeps them in place. So that was my short video about 3 things about mods that I did not know and did not notice in watching installation videos. So thanks for watching, and have a great day, folks.